So Linda, let's say you're at a place where you're not about competition as much. You've let some of that go, but you're sensing from someone else that they more are about that. What's an approach with these types?
Is to affirm them, because many times people feel competitive because of the negatives, and when you put the positive in, and to say, for instance, you are so good at style, or you are so funny, or you are, I mean, almost anything that says, I'm not going to get hooked up by your insecurity, and I want to give above that. We have a saying in my office that we treat everyone as human beings, even if they don't act like one. Once in a while, people don't act like human beings. Say, nevertheless, you treat them as a human being with respect, and you build them up, and you nurture them, and you help make them feel good about themselves, because that competition comes from insecurity. And I mean, we all go there. We all go those places. The big thing is to fight it, and to just say, I don't want to live here. I don't. And I've been very interested in this subject. I wrote a book on this subject called The Better Way to Win: Connecting, Not Competing for Success, because I saw so much, and I worked so hard to overcome this inside myself, and I began to study this whole idea of competitive thinking. So I'm going to write a book on it. So it's one of my non-screenwriting books.
Oh, wow. A lesson about yourself that you're almost embarrassed to admit that it took you so long to realize?
Well, I think we just talked about that. It was getting over my competitive feelings, and they were really gnawing at me, and I worked really, really hard at that. In the 1980s, when I started, was when those feelings were coming up, and I just resisted them. I prayed about them. I'm a spiritual person, and I just found, you know, I just said, I don't want to live here. And I would say that was probably my biggest lesson in the business. Say, I don't want to go there. And they do pop up once in a while, and I just say, don't want to go there. No, we're not going to go there. No, we're not going to do this.
Well, I think, too, we're in an age of social media where now people can be competitive behind their screen and say, oh, well, what's so-and-so working on? And there's a
Yes.
temptation to indulge ourselves. How do we stop that and say, you know what, I'm just going to focus on my life.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing is great for them.
Yes, yeah, and I mean, I think that's just what you do, is you sit down and you breathe deeply. There's a lot of breathing deeply, that's very important. And just say, what am I about? And there is a thing, it's so easy to fall into that, to get off track. And one of the things I often say to myself, am I telling the truth? Am I staying true to my calling? And so if I stay true, you know, whether we call it where we're being led or called, or however we want to say that, our mission in life, our objective, our goal, whatever, if we stay on that track, I think that's where we stay safe. And so it becomes very important not to let somebody else push us off that. And sometimes that means it takes a day to answer an email that's trying to do it, or to just sit down. You know, I got my favorite rocking chair in our sitting room, and I just sit down and say, okay, take a deep breath. I'm not going to go there. That is not where the good, or that's not where the value lies, and it's not where I want to live. But it is work. You know, it is work to keep saying, yes, we're not going to be there.